Okay, let's begin, friends. So we've got to get the technical stuff straight here. And then the understanding. What is he talking about? So nice Daled is being talked, this reread. A number of questions are raised in the first paragraph. We won't repeat the questions now, but we will at the end when we answer them. But the questions revolve around Yaakov and Yisrael, because Yaakov and Yisrael are mentioned in the pasuk, Monoh Afar Yaakov and Mispar Yisrael. So Yaakov and Yisrael, he identified and explained different levels of the neshama, Shabbos and weekday, and Gan Eden Elyon and Gan Eden ha'tchachten. And what's common between all of these manifestations of these two levels is that in order to transition between one and the other, there has to be a bittul of the previous level. That's the mikveh of Shabbos, and that's the river of fire that the neshama is immersed from the transition from Gehenna to Gan Eden. That's the omod, the pillar that the neshama needs to ascend in order to go from Gan Eden to Elyon, Gan Eden ha'tchachten. So now in this Dalit, he began to explain the difference between Gan Eden Elyon and Gan Eden ha'tchachten. So it began with a quote from the Zohar, the Idra Zuta, and that is, we should write them down, but overall, it's not that complicated. So Eden Ilah, the high Gan Eden, he said, is Meichas Timo, Chachma, or in general Chachma. Eden Tator, now here's where it's Chachma of Zoh. Now just fast forward, in the end, and he summarizes the whole thing. In Oishes Kabbalah, he says that Gan Eden is a yichud. Gan Eden is a yichud. The Gan Eden Elyon, Gan Eden ha'tchachten. So the yichud of Gan and Eden Elyon is Yudke. Is Chachma and Bina. And Gan Eden ha'tchachten is the yichud of Zoh and Malch Vavke, the classic yichudim. So that's where it's going. This is just nuance within that, because all the levels are interwoven. So when he says at the outset that Gan Eden Elyon is Tam Chachma, and Gan Eden ha'tchachten is Chachma de Zoh, why even invoke the Chachma? Just say it's Zoh. Finished. Gan Eden ha'tchachten. So he's mentioning Chachma de Zoh, because again, Chachma is bittul, and to whatever degree, there's a level of bittul in the experience in Gan Eden. It's not an ego trip. It's bittul to the Eibishter. But there's Gan Eden Elyon, Gan Eden ha'tchachten. And in this bittul gufa, there has to be this transition. Like Bavli Rishalmi, Yidlin's Bavli, Yidlin stayed with bittul. But the level of bittul of Talmud Rishalmi is even a greater one, because the Oyer is greater there. It was explained yesterday that Rabbi Zayda is not that he forgot everything he learned. Doesn't know about Shabbos until he forgot all Shas. What he stripped himself, what he invested himself of, is the tzir, the limitation of understanding Torah and mitzvahs as articulated in Bavli, but retains the essence. And now he's ready for a new articulation of this divine truths as articulated in Yerushalmi. So I'm summarizing. I'm actually going through now this ice again. So first he says, quoting from the Idra Zuta, clear. Gan Eden Elyon, Chachma, Gan Eden ha'tchachten, Chachma of Zoh. Okay. Now, Eden is Tainuk. And the first revelation of Tainuk is the Eureka moment. That's Chachma. You see by a person. He's struggling with something, and all of a sudden he gets the solution. There's a deep delight there. But that's a bittul dika delight. He's seen. He's transfixed. He's not smiling. His heart isn't overflowing. It's an essential. Oh, his face is glowing, but his face is glowing. He's Sovu Panov, quoting here from the Rishalmi when one of the Tanoim found the new Tisefta, one of the Meroyim. But that's a way of Nukuda. When does it come down, as we said, into a gishmak and really moves the person? That's dafke, when this new discovery, this insight is translated into bina, and you see and understand it and take ownership of it. Now it's b'pnimius. Chachma is, again, like sight. A flash, a moment. You're in a dark, unfamiliar room. The light goes on for a second. That's chachma. Now you reconstruct it and what you've seen, and that's bina. So that's what the real gishmak is. That's the manifested experience gishmak of tainug. Now that's Gan Eden. What's Gan Eden? Two things. Can you tell me what's what? What's Gan and what's Eden? Yeah, Eden is the higher level. Hashem planted a Gan in Eden. So Eden precedes it. So, right. So the Tainug of Chachma is Eden. And when that is revealed in Bina, then the glorious orchard, the garden grows. That's one level of Yichud. That's Gan Eden Elyon. That is Gan Eden Elyon. It's the Yichud Bekitzer of Chachma and Bina. So what's happening there? Tzaddikim sit and they have Hano, Gishmak, on the two levels of the Tainig of Chachma, which is Asmi's Dik, and the Tainig of Bina, in a Primis Dik way, Barchov, an expansive way. What's Gan Eden HaTachten? That's the lower Eden. So now we're going like from Bina, the words actually here, the words here, that's Chachma de Zoh. Gilui HaTainug relative to Zoh, and where it's Zoh is the place of the Tainug, and that is now going to where all the way down. Bina Bekitzer is now illuminating Zoh all the way down to Malchus. The translation of the person is that the Tainug is now illuminating his emotions all the way down to his behavior. Let's go to V'nimtza. Go after the square brackets V'nimtza. That's what we're up to. Everybody has the place? So the second one is Bina in Bina. It's a bit confusing because you said before Eid. What's Gan Eden HaTachten? Mashe Nimshach me'eden Tatoa, which is Chachma de Zoh. The B'chinas in what? Bina of Zoh and all the way to Malchus. Bottom line is, it's the world of the emotions. It's the world of the emotions are being now suffused with this Tainug. That's Gan Eden HaElyon. Gan Eden HaTachten. And in the Elyon, it's the world of Seichel. Gan Eden HaTachten is the world of emotions. That's in general the difference. As we said yesterday, Gan Eden HaElyon is Elam HaBriya. Gan Eden HaTachten is Elam HaYitzirah. What dominates Elam HaBriya is Bina. What dominates Atzilus is Chachma. What dominates Bri is Bina. What dominates Elam HaYitzirah, the Midas. And the Tachton is the Midas, so that the Tainug there is the emotional Tainug. And the Tainug in Elam HaBriya is the Seichel Dike Tainug, much more objective, less self. And it's a radically big difference, as in the difference in the world of Seichel and the world of Midas, which overall are different worlds, objective, subjective. Okay, so bringing up, starting again rather, from Moishe Sekabola, from the word V'nimtza. V'nimtza shebeis ha'pchinis Gan Eden HaTachten, both levels in Bechlolos, in general they are, beis ha'pchinis, the two levels of Bina and Malchus. So Gan Eden HaElyon is Bina, the Tainug's experience in Bina, and in Gan Eden HaTachten, all the way down to Malchus, all of the emotions down to Malchus. Shebhem nimshachim b'chinas ha'chachma b'chinas Zoh. In Gan Eden HaElyon, it's Chachma, and in HaTachten, it's Zoh, and in brackets, Chachma of Zoh. That's what the confusing part is, because even we speak about Zoh, what threads it all is some degree of bittul. That's the point here. The point is all just acknowledging God. So to some degree, it's levels of bittul. Clear? Yeah, we're good. That's what we're up to. Or Inyan Yichud Yudke, that's Gan Eden Elyon is a yichud of Yudke, Chachma, and Bina, and Gan Eden Tachon is yichud Vavke, the yichud of Zah and Malchus, the Midas and Malchus. But then that's the way Gan Eden Elyon, Gan Eden Tachon is mitzad Abriya, mitzad creation. Then the Bechlolus in the Gan Eden Yitosef Oid Yoser, and then in Gan Eden there's additional revelation of godliness, like the Avidus Odom Bekimat Torah Mitzvahs, which a person brings and it elicits through Torah Mitzvahs, which as the pasuk says, so Gan Eden is a fact. But then he put Yidden there, Adam there, Lavda to serve it, and to protect it. It refers to mitzvahs aseh and mitzvahs lois aseh, which protect. So what is that? In addition to that which is naturally drawn into Bina from Adam, which is Chachma. Now here's what we're up to. Mitzad the Seder, Shizel Rak Hitzonius HaChachma. Mitzad the Seder of creation, the Seder of the interplay between the spheres, as Chachma then yields Bina, it's Chitzonius of Chachma. That's the way it is mitzad, the structures God has manifested it. But then a Yid is rooted in the Pnimis of Likus, he brings a revolution. A Yid draws into Ishtalshalos, into Bina and all the way down, Pnimis HaChachma. Now he thankfully translates it for us. We see this. How does it work? Poshet Lamata. K'moi ba'adam Lamata. So when he first has that discovery, on one hand, it's extraordinary. He hasn't really plumbed it. He has it, but he hasn't plumbed its depth. That moment of Chachma, like he knows he has the answer, he really can't say anything really. He just knows intuitively he's got the answer, and the oisi is there, Amamish, so undefined that there's no language even. What happens? Then he toils on it and takes the nakuda, and he expands upon it, and so on, and creating bina, manifesting in bina. Then bina is not simply unpacking the nakuda, but in bina, if he does this properly, he's toiling in the idea. He's toiling in the discovery itself, appreciating the discovery. What's the nakuda? In his toil, dafka, he reveals the depth of the nakuda, which he wasn't even privy to the original moment of the discovery of the solution. Then he first only appreciates the depth of this idea. Das is application. This is still purely in the world of appreciating the depth, the Reichkeit, the beauty of the idea, the truth of the idea, the depth of the idea. It's still in the world of academia.
Why does it have to?
Pardon?
Why does it have to go back? Why does it imply that it goes back to Chachma? Bina is the depth and the beauty and the expansion of the idea. Why is it?
Because he's not just expanding now. What he's reconsidering here is the actual idea itself. He's reconsidering now his expansion of it. What is the Nakuda? Before the Nakuda shined to him, it just welled up. Where does it come from? I've explained many times. Where does it come from, this discovery? Because there's a kecha maskil, there's a deep level of the soul that just knows truth and is responsive to truth. And so that just wells up into consciousness. He hasn't. And he's a keli for it because he really wants to understand. How does this happen? Let's just trace back. It's rotzen. He really wants to understand, so this will compel the depth of him to express itself, and he'll find the solution. But it's coming to his consciousness from a place where it's known. The Koich HaMaskil just is this pure seichel that just knows truth. And when struck, as it were, well, what do you say about this subject? Boom, the answer comes. Because the Koich HaMaskil is much the objective part of the nefesh that any given subject will give you the objective truth of it. Each one on their level. But that came to him. Now in Bina, this is the conscious self. He's toiling on it. So when it first came to him, it was bechitzonius. He has the answer, but it's not, he doesn't appreciate its depth and hasn't plumbed its depth. In Bina, he's reconsidering what's the Nekuda, what is really the essence here, deeper and deeper and deeper. So he's unlocking in that consideration and that toil to really grasp the truth of this idea. He's unlocking its pneumius, which he wasn't privy to, was there, but not privy to consciously when it first just illuminated in his mind in this flash of insight. To clear somewhat. That says, if we experience it personally, I'll understand it better. But that's Yegiyah. This is toil, friends. Then he says, now he's really seeing it. Even though I said before that the initial thing is Re'iyah. The initial Re'iyah, friends, I'm asking a question, I'm giving an answer. The initial Re'iyah contradiction. He just said now, read it. Before that. Yeah. Seeing it. But didn't I just say before that the original flash is like seeing it? That's the ear. Bina is usually hearing and understanding, not seeing. The difference is, using the Moshel we learned, it's being in an unfamiliar room, and for a moment the light goes on. Now the light's sustained. Now the Chachmei really sees it. That's only after the toil. That original, we're looking for that moment that's tenuous, was a tenuous moment. To make this clearer, as he's having this flash, if he's going to be distracted, he's going to lose it. If someone's going to see there's a thing, and what? You're going to be very upset because he's going to lose it. Because it's temporary and it's transient and it's very fleeting.
Fleeting.
It's fleeting. It's chitzonius. It comes. He hasn't taken ownership. Now the Re'iyah after the Bina, that's the Re'iyah.
It's like a guy is at wherever he is, and he quickly snaps a picture, but and later on he sits and looks at it and then analyzes it. I mean,
the picture that he saw now, he really takes into pneumius, yeah. Just to share this, not exactly the same thing, but it happened a long, long time ago, and it still haunts me. It's a sad story. It was a funeral of a child. Soon after we moved to Hampstead. And at the burial, the mother is standing there, and she's like staring, not seeing. And a well-meaning, I think it's even as a relative, goes and takes her arm, and she, it's not exactly the point, but somewhat. How do you invade that moment? Well-meaning, I'm around you to comfort you. The mother was connecting with her child on some, who knows? I mean, she was kind of seeing him, whatever. You can see it still bothers me that I was standing right there. Said, how could you do this to her? Okay, the mother showed it. Doesn't even remember it, but we have to know borders. Okay. Continuing, so as I'm the previous Chachma showing Riyad Chachma. Hainu, Shenas is after the Bina, after the toil, and again considering what's the Nekuda is questioning, and Bina is questioning. So what's the Nekuda? What's the Nekuda? He's deepening and deepening the understanding of the Nekuda Sainian. aside from the applications of it. And now by him, the truth of it is now so clear, crystal clear, like she's seeing something and not seeing something fleetingly, but sustained. So, there is even a gel again, so Gan Eden alien is, well, that was Gan Eden alien. I'm sorry, this was Gan Eden alien. We just see where he's going here. Because it's like a ball. He started to say that through Avodah, the Nekudas HaChachma is deepened even greater. That's Gan Eden alien. Likewise through Avodah, Val Derez Ibn Gel Eden Atachten. So Inyan Imshachas Amshacha the Sfiras Amalchas Yichud Bavke. Gan Eden Atachten in general is not the world of Seichel, but the world of Midas. So through Avodah, שנמשך בו גם באופן היועסה נילה שבעניין ההבונה והסוגה דבינה מוידדיק. כפי שנמשך המסגל בזוהר מלכוס. Through Avodah. It means like this. Gan Eden Elyon is only for the great intellects. The great intellects. High neshamas. Gan Eden Atachten, and certainly Asiyah, the low neshamas. Not shaykh this Havana Vasoga. But through Avodah, he says, yeah. He's saying it. But through Avodah, then it's Nimshech, this is Gan Eden Atachten, with the subjective world of Midas, which is our world. The loftiest levels as Bina understands, but how is it? That's the Alien. I can't explain more, but even the simpler Jew through Avodah can have this understanding somehow that the great, lofty, intellectual and this Gan Eden Elyon has. Tzadikim Elyonim. That's drawn even Lamat. Why? The Kudus touches the Etzem. Avodah touches the Etzem. If Avodah touches the Etzem, it will translate on all levels. It's the world of Midas, etc. Because that's his level of his neshama. But Avodah unlocks the core essence, and therefore, in that sense, the two worlds are aligned. If there's Avodah. Okay, l'chayre. Let's go further. L'chayre. Tzarech hier, but l'chayre. L'chayre, it means to translate this through Avodah, whether a person's a great intellect or not, his hanocha, like the way he sees the world, bottom line, he is on par with the biggest chassid. He doesn't have the big, the Bakin, Ayin Beis, and Samarvov, and not Shaykh. But if there's Bittul, if there's Avodah, then the Kud is the same chassid, which means that his whole attitude towards God, reality, it's the same. It's the same. He's Mamshech that Nakud. I keep on mentioning the book, encouraging you to get it, Samarkand. Just you read a page a night, it's a Fabrengen every night. Just what these Chassidim, the Mendel, the Nissen are getting to know these figures there. Very colorful, it's wonderful writing, extraordinary memory, this guy. Meididik. In fact, once Mendel criticized him, I've got the context there. Every detail you have to remember. So you criticized him. Then as Mendel was leaving, he finally got his exit visa after 25 years. So he's sitting down, Hilke as he called him, and he went in all the details of the underground, the Temchet Mimim and the details. He says, I thought you said that you dismissed my penchant for details and memory. She says the event system, but I'm going to the Rebbe. The Rebbe's going to ask me all these details now. So cough up. Fancy how you use your talent. You have to remember everything that this one said, that the Shtusin and Arishkeit. But good things, yeah. And he describes the Fabrengens, a mental sense of humor. It's beautiful.
Hilke who? Pesner?
Salzman, he wrote the
Oh,
book.
Salzman. No, okay.
Tzorich lahavin. We have to understand. No, what I have to understand. Let's find out what you have to understand. We don't even know what you have to understand. Let's find out. The kivin sheganeden in idea vasogo. How does this work? Gan Eden, the point is understanding. Yoshri, and they sit. Sit means it's internalized. And then and they enjoy and benefit. It means it take ownership, right? So it's understanding. So what's this yichud? That there in Bina is revealed in the Kudus HaChachma Eden Shalamayim Asak. That's hidden understanding. So this is similar to the question we asked in the previous Maimon, which was what? Similar question. No? How can one be at once? Chukim. Say similar question. Chukim, Bittel, they said, Monoh, Kabbalah soil. How can one be at once thoroughly a Kabbalah Elnik and an intellectual? Same question he's asking here. It's the same question. Similar. It's not the same. Or how can one be at once simple and naive, even tmimizdik, and sophisticated and savvy, and you can't pull the wool over his eyes on anything? That was the question of the Maimon. What was the answer of the Maimon then? The chukas. So he says, "Achkika." If it's engraved in you, what is Eibishter? Then it's going to be manifest in your pshitos and your seichel. It's everywhere. It's in everything equally. That's not, again, that's Ata Tetzav. Moishe Rabbeinu's mamshid etzem and neshama to pervade all of the faculties of consciousness, but seichel and the dots, and they're all very, demanding faculties. I need to understand, need to feel. It's all permeated with the etzem and neshama. That's the whole Maimon, that's the whole Nakuda of Moishe, Ata Tetzav. So the question is asked again and again and again, because why? If it's the same question we learned in the previous Maimon, so why are we asking this again? Anybody?
You need to drill it in.
Huh?
It needs to be drilled in.
Yes, a lot pashut. What's that?
You just said it needs to be hakika.
Yeah, we got to engrave it in. We've got to. If we're not struggling with it, we're not in the game. This is the struggle. If you made peace with whatever I am, I'm a simple Jew, and I don't have to understand. All right, everything has to be explained. Then we're not the Kavan Elyon. Sorich love, and so give again. Give in Shagande, idea Vasaga Yeshiv and then in Eich Shaykh. So if it's understanding, that's the point. How is there should be there Gil B'chinas Achachma Eden Shlamal Masech should be beyond Sech. But an explanation is where do you think, friends, coming now? This is something we need to toil over to understand. Let's understand. Let's see the words. Shasagad the Gan Eden Ha'elyon. What's the nature of the understanding of Gan Eden Ha'elyon? Suffused with Chachma. Hu ba'ofen shel hasagas hashlila. No. Translation of those two words. Hasagas hashlila, grasping that which is grasping through rejection, literally. Not this, not this, not this. What kind of understanding is that? As opposed to hasagas hachiyuv, when you grasp what it is, here you're grasping the truth by divesting of what it's not. That's b'chala what it means. There's a nuance here, it goes beyond that. It's not like they're sitting in Gan Eden and screaming, no, no, no.
Yeah, there's neshamas that are there, right? And how do they know? They know where they're somewhere. They're not elsewhere, right?
Right. So, yeah. So what are we talking about? First of all, you answer this question, friends. When we talk about understanding, just understanding what exactly? One word, two words, one word even. Understanding what?
Interesting.
Eibishter. That's what we're talking about. Understanding godliness. Eibishter, Bemis, Eibishter. The truth of God. So there's understanding the truth of God, Asagas Hashlila, and then Asagas Achiyab, which would be understanding God himself can't be, but his manifestations, Ashayichtev, Asagas Achiyab, Chachma, Keser, etc. But Oirin Sof, the Pshitus of the Eibishter, by definition, you can't have a grasp in it. Your whole understanding is the appreciation that it is beyond. It's the beyondness that you're understanding, that you're appreciating. That's a Asagas Hashlila. Let's have a look inside the mind. The Alter Rebbe says in Pashas like this. He brings the pasuk Binyan. The Torah says, "Eile pekudei Mishkan." This is the accounting of the Mishkan. Mishkan ha'edos, the Mishkan of testimony. Simple meaning that the luchas ha'edos are in the Mishkan, so it's called Mishkan ha'edos. Why the double expression? There's pekudei Mishkan and Mishkan ha'edos. Says the Alter Rebbe, Shehu inyan yichud vavhei. The pasuk is describing the yichud. That's the first words of the pasuk. Pekudei hamishkan. Explains exactly in the words pekudei and mishkan. I'm not sure. We could venture a guess. But anyway, let's leave it. Shuba'ofen shel asagas hachiyuv. So the first part of the pasuk is the lower level. Hasagas hachiyuv, affirmative understanding. Pekudei means, okay, you're counting, so things are defined. Mishkan means it's dwelling, so that's understanding. And then there is Mishkan Eidos, Yichud Yudke, the Yichud of Chachma Bina. So there's a Mishkan, there's an element of Yichud. But what you're connecting to Eidos, testimony, which implies something which is, you're testifying about something else. That is, you're bearing testimony. That is referring to an understanding, not an affirmative understanding, but an understanding of the flaw, the beyondness, the wonder of it all. Let's continue in the Eis Beis Hashem tomorrow. And I'm not sure tomorrow if we're going to learn, because I'm leaving for New York right after davening Beis Hashem. Simcha in the family. Thank God, should be simcha to everyone. Maybe traveling tomorrow morning, so keep posted on the keep looking out on the WhatsApp.
Or you get a notification.